Hi Stampers! Thank you so much for participating in my Good Morning Magnolia online stamping class. Now whether you just purchased the tutorial or you received it for free with a purchase, these tips for the cards are for you. Now, as a reminder, if you read all the information carefully, the class really consists of 6 cards. And we're going to talk about those 6 in the video here. I'm going to give you a couple of tips. Don't worry, we're not making all the cards step by step. That's what your instructions are for. This is going to be just a quick short video full of tips for you. And then you also get the document that has 6 bonus tutorials. So they're all very self-explanatory, especially after you go through the tips that I have to share with you on these first 6. So really, altogether, you have got 12 completely different projects to do with this stamp set and dies. So in your instructions, you'll notice, and this I still have to do a little bit of editing here, each card shows a picture of the card. It will give you your card recipe, so it tells you exactly what to cut, and then it'll give you simple step-by-step instructions. I'm all about keeping it as simple as I can. Now, with the designer series paper, you can use different ones. That doesn't really matter. And when you go to color, you can really color however you like to color. Now, just kind of for your information, all 12 projects use basically the same supplies and the same colors. And we did that just for consistency so that you could just get out your supplies and you could sit down and make all of these. Now, the bonus projects, a couple of them were made by some friends of mine. We've collaborated together. Actually, the 5 of the 6 in the actual class are my designs. A 6th one is one of my friends, and we're going to show you that one too because it's super cool. And then the other 6, a couple were for some friends as well. So I hope you enjoy all of these projects. Now, like I said, we're not going to really go through them all. I'm going to show you each of the 6 cards here with a couple of quick tips. The first one here, now the card, and this is in your recipe, I did use Whisper White thick on this one. Whenever my card base seems to be white, I tend to go to that thick just because it gives you a little bit more substance. Whisper White's a little bit thin. And then we've just got some layering going on here. Pretty simple. With this embossing folder, I just want to remind you, in case you haven't experienced some of the new ones yet, the 3D embossing folders, it's a newer design by a different company, so they are a little bit thinner than what the dynamic ones were, okay? So depending on what die cutting machine you're using, if you use the Big Shot, which is what Stampin' Up! Most recently sold, and it's the only one I have, so it's all I can really tell you about. And when you use the Big Shot platform with the dynamic and also with these new 3Ds, you typically put your cardstock in, put it right on top of your platform with one of the clear plates. Now with the 3D ones, because they're a little bit thinner than those dynamics, when you put that clear plate on top of here, there's not enough pressure. Okay, so you're gonna have to build it up a little bit. There's 2 different solutions. One is, in case you haven't heard about it yet, a special 3D embossing plate. So this would replace the clear plate. It's a little bit thicker to make up for the fact that this is a little bit thinner. And then that's our sandwich. Now, if you don't have this and don't want to purchase it, go ahead, put the clear one on here, and then you're going to have to shim it somehow. What I have found works perfect is the craft silicone mat on top of that clear plate. Just gives you a little bit more thickness. Otherwise, some people have said the backing from your designer series paper helps. Couple layers of cardstock. You're gonna have to figure out what works best for your machine, but just know that you're gonna have to shim these or add a little bit of something there for them. If you have any questions on any of that, make sure that you ask. So here's the first card. Now, all of mine, I did color with the Stampin' Blends. And after I go through the cards, I'm going to give you some blends coloring tips. But like I said, feel free to color whichever way you prefer to color, whether it's watercoloring, colored pencils, blender pen, aqua painter, you choose. So there is our first card. All of these I've stamped the inside, so we just have the flower there with our greeting. Now the nice thing about this set is it could be for any occasion. You've got great greetings already, but go ahead and if you need to make a birthday card or an anniversary card or a wedding card, feel free to grab a greeting from someplace else. Now with this one, there's the inside of it. I did stamp the large Magnolia, and I have one stamped here for you, on a scrap of Whisper White. I colored it and then I cut it out. Then after cutting, I layered it with dimensionals. We used a lot of dimensionals. You can see them under there. They're both under the petal pink and the cutout layer here. But I put the dimensionals on, keeping the dimensionals kind of in the middle, adhered it, and then I took it into my paper cutter, or you could use your scissors and just cut all the extra off around the edge. I was really happy how this one turned out. I really like, you still have that center floral, but it's not so overwhelmingly big as this one. So there's the second card. Let's see, the third card, nothing, you know, probably anything real special on here. My ribbon here, I've just taped it on the back with Scotch tape, and then the twine or the linen thread here, I wrapped around and tied a bow right there. Again, oh, I know what's special about this one. When I cut this image out, you'll notice we're missing the big leaf and the stem here. So I used the die to cut the whole thing out. Then I used my scissors to just trim off this little bit of extra here, so we have just the flower with the 4 leaves, and then a couple of the die cut leaves as well. And you'll see underneath the big image there, this whole thing is stamped with the mossy meadow, so that, and then this is twisted just a little bit so you can kind of see that other flower underneath the outline of it. And there would be the inside of that one. Here's the super simple one, but I wanted to make sure you don't forget that this stamp is perfect for quick and easy cards. Just stamp the flower, our greeting, use a little bit of designer series paper, and stamp the inside. Now number 5, now you'll notice on this one our designer series paper is cut 4 by 5 1/4, so you do get a nice border of our cardstock. This one, I wanted it to be all designer series paper. So it's cut 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So it completely covers the whole front of that card. This piece was die cut with the, I don't know what, the border die. Okay. And then stamped that matches so nice on there. And then some flowers, stamped, colored, and cut out. So again, none of these cards are hard. This stamp set is absolutely gorgeous. I love it. And I have shared, we have one more project, so don't run away, but I have shared several other projects with this stamp set. I've done some 3D flowers. I've done a window card, some flowers in other colors over on my website. So make sure you check out those projects and videos as well for even more ideas. Now, card number 6 was made by my friend, and we're going to come back and color this. I didn't complete the whole card because I wanted to show you just a couple of tips. This is what the card looks like. And what she did, I thought this was genius. I'm just giddy over this card. So we have 2 pieces of designer series paper. Okay, this one's the one that's a little bit bigger. Again, sizes are on here. Then this one was a little smaller to adhere on there. Then I took the outline floral piece. Okay, now there's not a stamp that matches this one. It's the same shape as this. I believe it's the same shape as some of the flowers on the designer series paper. But this was full, and then I just took this and I cut one flower out there, and I cut one flower out there, just the outline. So that looks really kind of dumb and ugly like this. But then this is going to go with dimensionals on top of this piece. We want to raise it up a little bit. And once you've done that, okay, just make believe here, it'll be raised up a little bit. Go ahead, put adhesive. The liquid adhesive will work good, just teeny tiny dabs. You don't need a lot. And then you're going to adhere that down in these open spaces. And look at how cool that looks. And it's going to look even cooler when this is raised up just a little bit there. So excited. I love this card. And there you go. We got the greeting. We've got some of the linen thread, and that's how you're going to finish it off. So those are your 6 projects. Now, since we're coloring with blends, and I have been sharing with these quite a bit on my website, so you probably have seen me do this, but in case you haven't, when using Stampin' Blends, make sure you use Whisper White, thick or regular, either one, but I use the regular. Why waste the thick on this? Make sure you stamp with the Memento ink pad, and then make sure it's dry. That's critical so that you don't get your colors to smear. Now, there are all different ways to color with these, and because you guys know, I am the simple stamper. Okay, I am going to keep this simple. We have the light, I want to make sure I have the right ones. Light and dark. I almost always work with both light and dark at the same time. That's how they're intended. And I think the key is to start with light, And then I'll come, and I'm using the smaller tip here, and I'm coming in with the dark, and use those natural highlights and shading that Stampin' Up! Has done for you. And I always come back over it with the light. The whole idea with alcohol markers is they will blend together and you won't get those marker lines. But you got to get them to blend. So we've got the light. We're going to come where all the shading lines are with the dark, maybe up the side a little bit, and then come back with your light and just blend those. You can layer this color. But again, it does work way better, and it's suggested that you do small areas at a time. So don't try to color in the whole big image, you know, all the flower, and then come back with the dark, because their colors aren't going to blend as well. And so I would just go and work my way around that, do all of the petals. Make sure when you're done with the color, you snap that lid back on. Snap, okay? We're going to do the exact same thing with the leaves, but here I tend to use the smaller end, probably more than that brush end, even on these leaves, or quite often even on those flowers. But we're going to put our light on there, and then I'm going to come in with that dark, and again, I'm going to make some marks on the leaves, or on those lines, and then come back with the light and smear those colors around. Your light will get a little bit darker as well when you go over it again. Am I doing the right end? Yeah. But you can see how you get that dimension in those various colors in there, and snap them on. So there are some tips for stamping with blends. I think that's all I got to tell you guys. Like I said, this video isn't intended for you to stamp along with me. It's intended to give you pictures, or be able to see the card a little bit up close, and then go to your instructions, because they're written to make all the cards simple for you. Again, any questions, make sure you ask. And once again, thank you for participating. I hope you enjoy it. Remember, past classes are available as well if you didn't participate in those. And you can look forward to a really cool one coming in September. It's going to be 12 fun folds. We're going to use a fun stamp set, but all 12 cards that are part of the class will be fun folds that you'll be able to adapt and use with any stamps. So look forward to sharing that one with you. But for now, have fun creating with the Magnolia Lane Suite. Have a stamp happy day.